What it do, citizens of P-Town? You know what this is. This is none other than my top 50 favorite martial art movies. This is arguably one of the most important lists and videos that I can make on this channel because I credit martial arts movies as the genre of movies that got me into movies. It's a big reason why I'm into film today, and a lot of my interests, video games, anime, and things like that, did kind of stem from martial art movies. And I don't consider myself the leading expert in the world on this genre, but as someone who's seen over 120 martial art movies at this point, I would like to think that these 50 are really some of the best, at least in my opinion. So before we get to the top 50, let me just clarify that a martial art movie is a movie in which the main source of action is martial arts, i.e., hand-to-hand combat using fists, kicks, punches, elbows, knees, weapons such as knives, swords, poles, etc. Um, if there's other vehicles of action, then I don't consider it a full martial art movie. Example, John Wick. Even though John Wick contains some of the best martial arts action of the 21st century, because the other 60% of its action is gun action, then I don't include it as a pure martial art movies. Movies such as the Rocky franchise or the Hajime no Ippo franchise are eligible, but just want to clarify out there before we get into the top 50. Uh, so let's get into it. I got 50 movies to go through. Starting off, number 50 is Dragon Inn. This is a very great, visually striking movie, best known for its use of building and executing tension. It's developed a bit of a cult following. Definitely check it out if you're a fan of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, because both those movies kind of give very similar vibes. Number 49, we have Project A, directed by Jackie Chan, starring Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung, and Yun Bao. We're going to hear all of these names a lot on this list. Project A is about police versus pirates, and it features amazing stunts, featuring Jackie Chan pulling off a very Buster Keaton-esque stunt with falling off of a clock tower, and a fantastic final boss fight. I'll just leave it at that because we're going to be hearing about all of these names more and more as we get higher in the list. Next up, Jackie Chan is back already at number 48 with Armor of God. This movie is best known as containing the stunt that almost killed Jackie Chan. Go ahead and watch it. I mean, watch any and every one of these movies if you're interested. But if you're interested in seeing which stunt almost killed Jackie Chan or came the closest, check out Armor of God. Let me know if you know what it is or if you've seen it. It's got some fantastic stunts involving cliff jumping, hot air balloons, as well as killer ladies. I want to spoil it. There's a final fight scene with killer ladies, and it's absolutely awesome. Go ahead and check out Armor of God. At number 47, we have Kung Fu Hustle, one of the most popular martial art movies for non-fans, and for good reason. It simultaneously spoofs and parodies the wuxia genres while also giving homage and being a love letter to those movies. And Kung Fu Hustle still stands out for its very cartoonish humor and approach. A really great one for a good reason. Number 46 is Shaolin Intruders. I just kind of love this movie with how our main protagonists are like the best martial artists that we'll ever see in the movie, and it's not about them overcoming obstacles, but rather just them getting roped into the next fight scene. They're just like, okay, I guess we'll do this. This movie features a lot of elaborate choreography and set pieces of one versus many, in which one martial artist fights a bunch at the same time, and like the ones with big numbers are like stacking on top of each other and like surrounding them and things like that. Really, really creative choreography. Fantastic. Check out Shaolin Intruders. Number 45 is Once Upon a Time in China. This is one of the most influential wuxia films of all time. It's pretty much like a martial arts versus guns type movie. And it's fantastic. Jet Li is one of my favorites of all time. I think he's my king of wuxia, and Once Upon a Time in China is no exception. This is a really great movie. Number 44 is Police Story 2. While it's my least favorite of the Police Story movies, it still features amazing stunts and action choreography that makes it worthy in my top 50. And that's the great thing about the Police Story movies. You can watch a lot of them and still be okay with it because you're just going to not be disappointed. 43 is The Victim, directed by Sammo Hung. Sammo Hung deserves to be in the norm of the mainstream knowledge for Chinese, Hong Kong martial arts stars. Most people can name Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan. One day, I want to get to the point where everybody can name Sammo Hung. And The Victim is one of his best movies. Hilarious, great action, great choreography, super, super good. Number 42, have Kids from Shaolin. I have a bit of a soft spot for martial art movies that feature young martial artists kicking ass. This also is one of Jet Li's earlier roles. And yeah, we see young martial artists kicking ass in this movie. Think of this film as like a West Side Story, but for martial arts, in which like two rival families, want to interact with each other but can't, and then martial arts kind of like both gets in the way and brings them together. So really, really good stuff. Number 41 is The Raid, starring the great Iko Uwais. In case you haven't seen this already, if you love your four Bs, blood, bruises, and broken bones, go ahead and watch The Raid if you haven't already. Chances are you've heard of this. Go watch it. It's fantastic. Number 40, we have The Eight Diagram Pole Fighter, directed by Lau Kar Lung. We're going to see his name a lot. And starring the legendary Gordon Liu, who we will also be seeing multiple times. Eight Diagram Pole Fighter has not only just one of the best finales of any martial arts movie that I've ever seen, as far as pole fights or staff fights, I think this is the greatest of all time. This has the greatest pole slash staff fight scene that I personally have ever seen. So that makes this a required viewing all in of itself. You're gonna hear me say that a lot. Required viewing. Number 39 is Shadow, the most recently released martial art movie to make it to my top 50, directed by the legendary auteur Zhang Yimou. This is one of the best looking martial art movies. It takes inspiration from the old black ink paintings and scrolls of ancient Chinese history and puts that as its color palette, in which it is occasionally bathed and stained with crimson red. If that interests you, check this movie out. And if that doesn't interest you, there's bladed umbrellas. Bladed umbrellas. Now, if that interests you, check out Shadow. Number 38 is Once Upon a Time in China 2. The reason why I prefer this over the first one is because it has Donnie Yen. Don't know what else to tell you. Donnie Yen, he's incredible. So with Once Upon a Time in China 2, and now going into our number 37 and up, we are already in a high echelon territory. Like before, up until this point, these have been movies that I'm a fan of and that I love rewatching. But now, with 37 and higher, these are movies that I love and adore. Like we're already in great territory. Starting off with the Zodiac Fighters, this is probably the least accessible martial arts movie on this list because it's a so bad it's good type of movie. It's so low brow in its comedy. It's so campy. But if you are experienced in this genre, or you're okay with suspending disbelief and just experiencing such a ridiculous, outrageous, and zany story and characters and comedy, Zodiac Fighters is an incredible movie to watch when you're high. Really great action, and once again, just so ridiculous that it's honestly like one of the more entertaining watches on this whole list. Super underrated movie. Next at number 36 is one of the, coincidentally, 36 for The 36th Chamber of Shaolin. This is one of the most influential wuxia films of all time, and for good reason. Whereas training arcs are just boiled down to just montages during the second acts of movies, the training arc is the second act of 36th Chamber of Shaolin. Like I said, one of the most iconic martial arts movies of all time, and it is a required viewing. Fantastic, fantastic. 35 is Flashpoint. Um, this has one of the best martial arts finales of all time. It's also known for being kind of the first mainstream martial art movie to incorporate mixed martial arts in its fight scenes. The fact that Donnie Yen has multiple fight scenes that are all timers and that like change the game. Like the dude has had multiple careers. Dude has had a career that would have been equivalent to multiple individuals' careers in his lifetime. The dude has an incredible work rate, heavy influence of mixed martial arts. So if you're here for my MMA videos, then check out Flashpoint. Number 34 is a revenge tale that we've all seen before in Martial Arts of Shaolin, directed by Lau Kar Long once again. But I think it's a great one because Jet Li is my king of wuxia. There you have it. Number 33 is Righting Wrongs, starring Yun Bao and Cynthia Roth. Um, Directed by Corey Yun, who we found out recently passed away. He was such a fantastic filmmaker. If you want a movie about a prosecutor who is just fed up with the legal system and takes it into his own hands to deliver justice, Righting Wrongs is that movie for you. A lot of great drama, great action, great stunts, great sound effects. Definitely check this one out. Number 32, we have Police Story 3 Super Cop. This stars not only Jackie Chan but also Michelle Yeoh. They both have some great chemistry together, and this is known for having some of the best stunts, and not just the entire Police Story franchise, but in some of and a lot of Jackie Chan's career. This movie is best known as the movie that Quentin Tarantino would put in a time capsule because he loves the action so much. So if you take Quentin Tarantino's taste seriously, then check out Super Cop. Number 31 is Five Deadly Venoms. This is a cult classic for good reason. It's got some fantastic, violent, stylized martial arts, especially relating to animal style arts, martial arts, like poisonous and venomous animals, like the centipede style, or the snake style, or the scorpion style, just to name a few. So, like I said, this is a cult film. A lot of people know this one, and for good reason. Definitely check out Five Deadly Venoms. Shang She, one of my all-time favorite filmmakers, for sure. At number 30, we have Dragon, also known as Wuxia, alternative title. This movie pays homage to some of the classic Wuxia films while being a very modern take on the genre. If this movie is about Donnie Yen, who plays this very frail, meek farmer who had a very violent past, and once his past catches up to him, he has to unleash that violent martial artist again. So it's really really cool. We're in top 30 territory. Man, these are all so great. Number 29 is Kung Fu Panda. Don't know what to tell you. It's Kung Fu Panda's number 29. I don't think I need to explain it. At number 28, we have Ip Man 2. While unfortunately we won't see any Rocky movies on this list, even though they were eligible, Rocky 4 is my personal favorite of the Rocky franchise. And if that's one of your favorites too, then check out Ip Man 2. Because Ip Man 2 is like the Rocky 4 of the Ip Man movies. So check it out. Number 27 is Fong Sayuk 2. I can leave it like this because, well, spoiler, we're going to mention another Fong Sayuk movie later. But a fantastic sequel, one of the best sequels of all time, in my opinion. And Korean does it again. Number 26, Ip Man 3. I have a soft spot for the Ip Man films. I would binge them back to back on weekends. And I love this one because it has the highest quantity of action across all the Ip Man movies individually. So it's a little unrealistic because it tries to put situations and scenarios in which martial arts is justified, like hostage situations or excuses to fight Mike Tyson, who is in this movie. I just love the quantity of the action present in Ip Man 3. At number 25, we have Dirty Ho. This is the name of Gordon Liu's character, not derogatory term for promiscuous women. Anyways, directed by Lau Kar Lung, this is one of the most ridiculous movies on this list. This is a fighting without fighting type of martial arts movie in which these characters are trying to kill another character, but they're also trying to maintain the facade and persona of being acting civil in society. So in between characters trying to share tea or giving musical performances, they are trying to dance and engage in combat at the same time. It is completely ridiculous, but also features some of the most elaborate choreography of Lau Kar Lung's filmography. So an underrated movie on this list. Check it out if you like your ridiculous comedic action movies. This is definitely one of the best examples. We move on to top 24. In the 24th spot, we have Jackie Chan's The Fearless Hyena. This movie is just packed with action of all different types: slapstick action, violent action, um, highly emotional choreography, as well as very stylized choreography too, and fighting styles like the titular hyena style. If you're interested in not just watching Jackie Chan movies in general, but if you're curious about his earlier films, as he was making being on the come up, Fearless Hyena is easily my recommendation for that for the not twilight, I guess the sunrise years of Jackie Chan's career. We move on to number 23 is Kill Bill. Maybe some of you are wondering where Kill Bill was on this list. It's right here, number 23. I'm grateful to Tarantino. I'm not particularly a big Tarantino fan, but I'm grateful to Tarantino for his homages in this movie. I'm biased because of the bride in the yellow jumpsuit, um, and of course, which pays homage to Bruce Lee and his yellow jumpsuit in Game of Death. I'm a little biased. Oh, Tarantino. All right, fine. I'll give you that. At number 22, we have Five Elements Ninjas. Five Elements Ninjas is, or I guess not is, contains one of Shang She's best finales, one of his best final acts. It's got some fantastic violence in this movie. Like I said, probably his best finale, and some stylized martial arts ninjutsu, in which it approaches the elements such as water, earth, fire, air, all that, and incorporates martial arts with all those elements in pretty creative, over the top, yet grounded ways. Like it's not realistic, that's for sure, but it feels more grounded and more interesting than if the martial artists just spat water out of their hands or mouths. So some really great stylized ninjutsu. Definitely check out Five Elements Ninjas. Better than Five Deadly Venoms, in my opinion. Next up, number 21. I adore this movie a lot. We're in like top. I mean, we've been in top 50 territory, but I think Wheels on Meals is definitely somewhere there. I love Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung, and Young Bao individually, but this is their best movie when they're all together. They have such great comedic timing together, some fantastic stunts in this movie. Sammo Hung did really well the direction of this film, and also this contains one of Jackie Chan's best fight scenes. His fight scene with Benny Urquidez at the last act of this movie is considered one of Jackie Chan's best, and that makes it a required viewing. Top 20 martial art movies. Let's get into it. Number 20 is none other than Stephen Chow's Shaolin Soccer. I do prefer this film over Kung Fu Hustle. I just think it's such a fantastic integration of martial arts into soccer. So if that's something that interests you, integration of martial arts into other sports or other settings, Shaolin Soccer is going to be one of those best examples. I love the cast. They're all so eccentric and realistic. They all have different builds and strengths and different styles of martial arts that they bring to the sport of soccer. Fantastic movie. Number 19 is Operation Condor. This is the sequel to Armor of God. And I think that it's better than Armor of God. I think that it's funnier. I think that the set pieces and stunts are generally a little bit more interesting and cool. And it also features a awesome final set piece involving a plane hangar in which they actually play around with gravity a little bit. And, like the fan is just kind of blowing everywhere, as you can see right here. Um, awesome. Totally awesome finale. Like I said, one of Jackie Chan's best, and that makes this an essential watch. Number 18 is yet again Jackie Chan with Police Story 4 First Strike. What's great about all the Police Story movies is that if you want to watch the fourth one, which is best known for having its most unconventional fight scenes, it really isn't a chore to watch the first three because they're all great. And Police Story 4 is my second favorite. I mean, it's a comfort movie. Like I said, it features unconventional fight scenes. This has the famous fight scene with Jackie Chan and just a ladder, where he fights a bunch of dudes with just a ladder, and also features an underwater final fight. And with being underwater comes a certain aquatic animal. So if that's something that interests you, check out Police Story 4 First Strike. Number 17, we have the first Bruce Lee movie on this list with none other than Way of the Dragon. This was the only movie that Bruce Lee got to direct in his lifetime. He wrote the screenplay as well, and he really directs this movie with a lot of aura. I mean, we lost him way too soon. Not only were we not only were a bunch of Bruce Lee movies taken away from us, but also directorial movies that he would have probably made. This movie has aura that, and also Bruce Lee wasn't above incorporating comedy into his movies. So that's pretty interesting. And this features one of the most iconic fight scenes, dare I say, of all time, with Bruce Lee fighting Chuck Norris at the Coliseum. So fantastic movie. I'm gonna give you another Bruce Lee movie, Fist of Fury. There is a bit of a title discrepancy for Bruce Lee movies, as a lot of them share names. This one is Fist of Fury, aka The Chinese Connection. So look up for that one. This features one of the most iconic one versus many type fight scenes in which one character fights a bunch of people at once. Since this movie, that has become a staple of martial art movies, in which one martial artist who's just better than everybody fights a bunch of lower level martial arts opponents and just mouths through them. That's because of this movie right here. So iconic, so fantastic. And yeah, and let's keep the Bruce Lee streak going with number 15, The Big Boss. This is Bruce Lee's most violent movie. While it's not the most violent movie of all time, it is the most violent of Bruce Lee's filmography. Although it is less iconic compared to the other martial art movies. I think I love this is my favorite Bruce Lee movie to release in his lifetime because of how cerebral it is. And one thing to add as far as Bruce Lee's legacy is that he is a lot like the James Dean of Hong Kong, in which, like James Dean, he wasn't in that many movies before he was taken too soon. But each movie he was in was so iconic, so great, and played a big part in maintaining their cultural icon status. And that includes the Big Boss, also known as Fist of Fury. So fantastic. If you want to see some great violence in a Bruce Lee movie, check out the Big Boss. Number 14. Number 14 and onwards, we are in masterpiece territory. So we are like below top 50 and going in like closer and closer to the top 50, top 40s, top 30s, top 10s, even top 5s maybe. And that starts off with our number 14th, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Not only one of the most acclaimed martial art films of the 21st century, but one of the most acclaimed martial art films of all time. It's a very accessible movie for all types of film viewers. There's the film viewers who love craftsmanship and motifs and themes and storytelling, and the people that recognize this movie for its Oscar nominations. And it's also just a really great action movie for people who just want to eat popcorn and watch people like fly in the air and balance on walls and trees and shit. So Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, definitely a great one to go into. Number 13 is Bodyguards and Assassins. We watch movies for elements that they're known for. We watch The Empire Strikes Back for its big twist, even though that we know that Darth Vader is Luke's father. We watch The Shawshank Redemption, even though that we know its iconic, beautiful ending, it's still iconic and beautiful. And we will watch Bodyguards and Assassins for its fantastic 1 hour long set piece in the last part of this movie. Great stuff. Number 12, we have Shaolin Temple. So this is the not only Jet Li's first movie, but it's also the first movie to be released in or no, first martial arts movie to be released in mainland China when it was economically established, and it's still one of its highest grossing movies when adjusted for inflation. It's the same story as we saw in Martial Arts of Shaolin, our number 36 spot, I believe, but I think it did it best the first time. I think there's a more epic feel to the episodic nature of this movie, and it has a very interesting approach to Buddhism. There are Buddhist monks who break the rules. They drink, they eat meat, they want to get married and have kids, and of course they want to take revenge. This is a revenge movie, and maybe that it will be a miss for some people, but I think it gave a lot of weight to every single fight scene that we see in this movie. I like all the characters. I love the revenge story, some of Jet Li's best action scenes, and I say that all the time when it comes to Jet Li movies. Anyways, number 11 is The Legend of Fong Sayuk, Jet Li once again. Some great high flying action, high quantity of action as well. Rest in peace, Corey Yun. You were taken way too soon. All right, here we go. Top 10 favorite martial art movies of all time. Oh, these are all so amazing. Number 10 is Hero, directed by the legendary Chinese auteur Zhang Yimou. This is a Rashomon-like movie where color is not so subtly utilized to portray its motifs and themes. It's greens being meant to symbolize peace, reds meant to symbolize possessiveness and jealousy, etc. This is just a tour de force of movies in which you have these giants from China like Jet Li, Donnie Yen, Zhang Ziyi of the action side, giving it their all, giving their best. And then you have titans like Maggie Chung, Tony Leung, really carrying this movie on the dramatic side. Overall, you just get one of the most well-rounded movies on this list. And I'm just realizing that the curtains are crooked. Don't worry about that. I'm gonna make you forget about that with my number 9 pick, Legend of the Red Dragon, another Jet Li movie. The dub is terrible, but as someone who is such a huge fan of Jet Li's comedic movies and his comedic roles, I do love this more stoic and jaded father character that Jet Li plays. This film doesn't really take itself too seriously, despite the somber tone. Um, it's like very somber and dark while also being, well, like I said, doesn't take itself too seriously. Like, look no further than the first action set piece of this film, in which Jackie Chan is literally not Jackie Chan, Jet Li literally has his infant son on his back and he's fighting a bunch of guys at once, and his baby's just like swinging around on his back. It's flying in the air. Jet Li's killing some guys and catching them. It's not a serious movie, but it has a very somber tone. I do appreciate it. And number 8 is the last and one of the few Hollywood martial art movies to make this list, Warrior, starring Tom Hardy, Joel Egerton, etc. This is the most emotionally gut wrenching movie, maybe of all time for me. Absolutely incredible movie. It's a banger, better than all the Rocky movies in my opinion. Check it out if you like your mixed martial arts. It is an emotional roller coaster. Number 7 is Crippled Avengers. This is my favorite Shang Shen movie, my favorite martial arts cult classic. It's one of my all-time favorite recommendations for action movies. If you like your absurd yet badass and fun type of action, check out Crippled Avengers. This is about martial artists who become impaired, whether or not they're robbed of a sense like seeing or hearing, or robbed of limbs such as their legs. They have to navigate how to become great martial artists despite their shortcomings. And what we get is just a perfect movie, to be honest, a perfect movie. And number 6 is Ip Man. Ip Man is by far my favorite martial arts movie of the 21st century, and rightfully so. It's a powerful story of unity through martial arts and features Donnie Yen's best performance alongside some of his best work. I'm going to turn on the light real quick. Am I ghost mode? A little bit. But, anyways, yeah, number 6. And now, top 5, baby. Top 5 at number 5. We have Iron Monkey, directed by the legendary choreographer Yun Woo Ping. This stars Donnie Yen in a supporting role. This is just a really incredibly absorbing mix of folklore in which it takes the story of Robin Hood that we all know, steal from the rich, give to the poor, as well as incorporating Wang Fei Hung, who is a very popular folk hero in China, who was a real person but had a lot of fictional accounts of being this legendary martial artist. And just to see China, this movie have fun and just have this fictional account. Like, what if one of our most famous folk heroes met Robin Hood and they had a little episode together, fighting for justice? Iron Monkey's so cool, man. Um, in 1993, one of the best years for martial art movies ever, if you've been paying attention to the years. Now we're getting into what I think is top 10 territory. So not only are these 4 movies in my top 5 favorite martial art movies of all time, but they're also around my top 10 films ever made. And that starts with Jackie Chan's Jet Li's Tai Chi Master, directed by Yun Woo Ping again. Comfort movie. One of my all-time favorite comfort movies, and Jet Li's best film, in my opinion. I mean, 1993, once again, one of the best year for movies. At number 3, my third favorite martial art movie of all time is Legend of the Drunken Master. This is one of the best directed movies of all time. It's got some great setups. It's got phenomenal action, some of the best ever put to film ever, and some really great comedic timing. Each comedic scene plays into the dramatic scenes for later, which plays into the martial arts scenes. One of Jackie Chan's best works, and like I said, one of the best directed movies ever. And number 2, my second favorite martial art movie is Police Story, directed by Jackie Chan. This is where we are like in top 5 all time territory for me right here. This is the best harmony of comedy and action that I've probably ever seen in a movie. The drama is greatly earned. There are just some perfectly executed stunts, and the fight scenes feel like they have perfect rhythm. When you combine Jackie Chan directing alongside Jackie Chan's stunt team, you get like the Naruto and Sasuke of movies, like the Kobe and Shaq of movies, like the Goku and Vegeta of movies. This is just the perfect blend of everything when it comes to the best of martial art movies: action, stunts, comedy, drama, characters, direction. Police Story has it all. Uh, like I said, top 5 movies of all time for me. And number 1, you've been waiting for this. You're not going to be surprised. It's Enter the Dragon, starring the legendary Bruce Lee. I don't really need to go into that much detail. I've talked about this movie well enough. Enter the Dragon to me is my favorite martial art movie. I'm not going to defend it as like the best one or like it should be everybody's favorite, but it is my favorite. I just cannot deny the impact that this movie has had on me and on martial art movies in general. There really is nothing like Enter the Dragon for me when it comes to aura, when it comes to charisma, when it comes to passion, iconacy, and influence. And there you have it. Woo! That's my top 50 favorite martial art movies. What did you think of my list? What are your favorite martial art movies? Did I leave out anything you're going to be interested in seeing? Go ahead and comment below. I still have at least a couple dozen other martial art movies that could have made this top 50. Yes, so yes, my this list is also available on Letterboxd. Go check it out. My Letterboxd will be linked in the description. I love martial art movies, and I'm ready to watch some more. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for the support. Let me know your favorite martial art movies down below. I'll catch y'all later.